26, Nominations and Elections Committee regular meeting. So I'm calling it to order at 6:30. We have two people, myself, Nancy Alionak, chair, and Michael Wordsworth. And that's it. And the third order of business on this is to adopt the agenda. I would like to amend the agenda to make it Monday, September 26th, instead of Tuesday, September 26th, as the agenda says. 3 cheers for cut and paste. So, Michael, we're voting on amending the agenda.
I didn't even notice that, but yeah.
Okay. Unanimous.
Yep.
Now, I move to adopt the amended agenda once more. Great, unanimous. Okay, now we can go to the approval of the minutes for August 29th and September 6th, and they're attached to the agenda. Did you look at them, Michael? If you didn't, okay. And I will point out that I added the petition process addendum to the minutes of the August 29th meeting. So there would be a record of what all we talked about. So anyway, you will find 1, 2, 3 pages attached to the back of the minutes of that meeting. So are we good with, I move we adopt the, approve the agenda or the minutes. Yeah, approve the August 29th minutes. Yes?
Yes.
Excellent. Unanimous. Now we go to the September 6th minutes, which are also attached to the agenda. And yes, Tuesday, September 6th, which is probably where I cut and pasted Tuesday on our current agenda, but it's fixed now. And are there any? Okay. I move we adopt it.
Yep.
Unanimous again. And now we go to new business, AGM preparations. And thank God for Unilect, is all I can say. The first is a discussion of how we'll do the vote counting. And the answer is we won't. NNE does not count votes. We handle sealed envelopes, but we do not count votes and we do not handle ballots. And I was kind of informed of that when I talked to Catherine at Unilect and said, NNE can't handle ballots. And she's like, you never did. You don't handle ballots. So yeah, when you look at it, the bylaw says no person nominated as a board member or member of the Nominations and Elections Committee or ACC, nor members of their family or their household shall assist in counting votes for any election. While handling ballots, handling sealed envelopes is not counting votes. So we're good. And I also attached a couple minutes that someone kindly found for me of a previous board member in September 2014 who was NNE chair, who continued on the board and never stopped being NNE chair for her time on the board. And then another example from November 7th, 2009, where that's kind of ancient history. The NNE chair actually also ran for the board and presented the results of the election, which of course NNE doesn't do. The parliamentarian does, or whoever runs the meeting, which is either the parliamentarian or it may be AJ. So I hope we're good with that. Michael, did you want to add anything?
I thought on one of these papers that you had presented that Leslie actually recused, is that the word, herself from
I didn't see that. Oh, there it is. From the vetting process entirely.
yeah.
Well, we're not vetting anymore. We are simply opening the ballot box, and there's always two people to do that. We take out, or you take out the ballots, or a staff member, if a staff member's with me, because you're not available, but take out the envelopes, count the envelopes, stamp them with the date, check to make sure they're signed, and put them back in a secure place. We don't vet anymore because it turns out that Unilect does that anyway. And what happens when you vet them each time you open the ballot box is you have to do it all over again, because the list of members in good standing changes week by week. And in fact, it changed from almost 2 pages to 4 pages, as many as 4 pages, just depending on when in the month you happen to ask for it. And the only time it counts is the list that's produced right before the election, the AGM or SGM. And we don't do that. Unilect does it by computer.
I called Catherine today and talked with her and Andrew and asked if they could explain that process real clearly to me, so that you've told me that, but I wanted to hear it clearly from them, how that process works, so that I could explain it. And I was on the phone for a good half hour with Catherine and Andrew tonight, and Andrew said that what we're planning on doing is fine, that I wanted to say treasurer, but it's not, it's accounting, is that our accounting keeps track of the dues and who's in good standing and who's not. And he said that as long as he has by Friday 4 o'clock, the day before the election, he has a list of who's not in good standing. He can put that into the computer. Everybody else is already, as per Sudden Valley's accounting process, is already accounted for. There's just a number, of whatever, say it's 10 people who aren't in good standing, then he can put that in the system into his program, and as they open envelopes and scan them through, those that aren't in good standing are flagged, and then they hand pick them out and set them out to the side. And so all the rest are considered in good standing, and they have been signed. We made sure of that and we date stamped them and signed them. And then he said Saturday, while they're there and they're doing this, accounting has the list that's right there that very minute. And any of them that are cleared then get put back into count. And the ones that aren't cleared, that are still not in good standing, don't count for they get a vote for the budget, but not for
budget only.
the rest of the ballot. And so he said, yes, that all can be done and is done every year since they've done this. And he also said that the way that you sent him the information last time was the easiest he's ever had it, because he said it was just a lot easier to do. However you got that information to him, it made it so much more streamlined. I don't know what that was, but at any rate, whatever that was, he said it went better than any time before. So good on you. But at any rate, we're still at so we're going to put the ballot box out on a such and such a date, and I don't know if we've established that date yet or not. I think we talked about it, but I don't have it written down here. But what we're doing here is, since there's just Nancy and I, and Nancy's running for the board, so she's going to try to set in the background as much as possible and allow staff to handle the ballots, because I am going out of town.
Envelopes, the sealed envelopes.
Well, there are ballots in the envelopes, okay? Yeah. But they're mailed in ballots that are inside 2 sealed envelopes, and all they're going to do is date stamp them and make sure they're signed and put them in the gun cases, and that's it. I am going to be gone October 4th through October 18th, so somebody has to be in charge of the keys, and somebody has, if we wanted to take anything out of the box between those 2 weeks. There is talk, and there are members that feel that Nancy should give me the keys or give the keys back to staff, and in that recuse herself. I'm saying that wrong. I'm sorry. Recuse herself from that process. And I don't see why we couldn't just leave whatever ballots are in that big ballot box for 2 weeks and not even touch them till I get back.
So do I.
Leave it in there, leave it locked, don't touch it. When I get back, we can take whatever's in there out and go through with a staff member and video it if we need to, for showing that we're just looking at signatures and date stamping them and then putting them in the gun case until we give them to Unilect on the morning of the AGM. And so therein is pretty much the whole thing in the nutshell. So I don't know, it's kind of like it's even Catherine said that, it would recusing yourself is not a stigma of any type of fault or blame that can be laid on you. And for the benefit of peace and harmony, which is really hard to get here in Sudden Valley, possibly just, leaving the keys with somebody that's
the keys are symbolic, and I'm not doing anything with them but leaving them where they are hung up right now. We will go put out the ballot box on, I think, the 3rd, And then clean out gun cases of what we can of the SGM stuff. So we have room to put the next level, the next AGM stuff. And then we lock everything up and the keys go back where I've got them in the house. And I don't go near the ballot box and nobody else does except to put in a ballot should they wish. It's early in the election and I don't think that box will be full.
I don't either.
By
I
the
don't see
18th
where there's
when
any
we
reason
come
to,
back.
to even have to do anything but leave it sit there and
And that solves it.
that solves that.
The reason people cleaned it out more often in the past is because they were taking out the envelopes and checking off from the mailing list.
Yeah.
Who was
We were vetting them by, are they in good standing or not? And it takes a lot more time.
Plus, just checking them off that list takes a long time.
Yeah.
And then you go through and you do the vetting list and you do that again every time with a different list because people fall on and off. So,
again, everything we're doing is I'm sure as per the homeowners, very acceptable, except I don't see why you just don't give me the keys and we leave it locked up and that's that, and that ends the whole thing.
No, I don't think it's a good idea to have the keys inaccessible. And as I said, if a chair wanted to mess with the votes, they don't need to be running. I mean, they could have done it at any time. And I still don't understand how those duplicate ballot box keys got made. I mean, that was clear. Those were made.
Yeah.
And I promise you, there weren't any made while I got the keys.
Okay. Well,
Unless my cat did it. The cat's not interested.
okay. Well, then we are where we are at that, and I guess we won't argue that out any farther. The next thing was soliciting volunteers. I have already got 4 ladies. 4 ladies who said they would be more than willing to come on to the AGM and help open and do all that.
The thing is, we should solicit beyond the Facebook because so many people like myself don't touch that organization.
Yeah. Well, we can put an ad
So
in the paper.
what I intend to do is advertise on the website. There's that AGM button that can be populated as soon as things are mailed on the October 3rd. I'm not putting sample anything out until those things are actually mailed. And that's a good idea. I've got time to get something in the views. And that had skipped my mind.
Okay. Well, I have 4 ladies that said they would already said they'd be more than willing to help. So if we want to get others, and then maybe something had happened and they'd, their schedule would change or something, but there are people volunteering.
I'm sure there are, but I want to open it up to the entire membership, not just those on Facebook.
Okay. All righty.
So that's what we'll do. And if you're interested.
So then we've talked about item 3 here, AGM ballot box goes out on October 3rd.
That's what we had discussed, out on October 3rd.
Okay. And at the same time, clean out the gun cases.
We'll have to get them from the closet in the back of where those exercise machines are. Oh, multi-purpose room.
Yeah. Okay.
And drag them or drive them
Take 'em
over
back
to
over.
admin.
Yeah,
Then we'll find a room and clean out and shred. Now, the problem is, we're supposed to keep election materials for 90 days. And that means we can't throw out that SGM ballots.
we could
until-
lock them in the second gun case.
Yeah, there's stuff in both gun cases, but one of them is just junk. It's like
Yeah.
security envelopes. We can pitch those. I don't even think we need to shred them. But
Yeah.
maybe
But
we
yeah,
will.
like this for the SGM, we only used one gun case. The other one was just sitting there. So if we wanted to put the SGM stuff in a gun case and leave it locked, then and use the other gun case for the AGM, we should be fine.
Yeah, plus there's a third gun case back in there.
Oh,
And
all right.
it's smaller. And if we're just going to put the SGM ballots and envelopes in it, and actually they're old enough that I wouldn't have a problem just bundling them up and taping them in a box and putting them in a secure closet
Yeah. Okay.
if
And
we
what is,
need the gun case.
yeah, what's the envelope? Oh, we talked about the envelope collection and process schedules. We're just gonna
Yeah,
collect them all after I get back on the 19th. I'll be back to the 18th and we can do it the 19th.
yeah, I don't see them being that box being full. And I think just counting the envelopes and running that stamp and looking for a signature will go much faster
Yeah.
than reading it, finding it in the database, clicking off the right column, and looking in that other sheet of good standing and clicking that. And then going back through the sheet of good standing and making sure that the people who fell off,
Yeah.
are off.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm just glad we're not doing that anymore. It occurred to me that the process we had done, we hadn't thought through with regard to what Unilect was doing for us. They never used that data we collected. They only used the database for
They said that,
the
but
in
they
good
said
standing.
you have to provide that.
Right, and I
Yes.
did last time, and
Okay,
or
right.
accounting a
Or the
said that-
N&E committee has to provide that by 4 o'clock the day before the AGM.
Yeah, I think I had it pulled on Thursday, but
Yeah, well, he said the latest it had to be was 4 o'clock on Friday would be fine, but it was before that, I think. And then it's updated Saturday morning.
it's updated Saturday morning because they have people coming in
And signed, yeah,
to vote in person.
yes.
Um,
Okay,
or on the floor or wherever they're
Yeah.
going to vote. So what else do we have to talk about? The next meeting would be October 24th. I don't see, we may not even have, let's see how it goes. Last year, we did not have a late meeting,
okay,
but we may want it to discuss how to handle the AGM.
Okay.
And
and we could see who's volunteered to,
right, we could finalize the volunteer list. It sounds like
and
we'll
make
have
it public.
more volunteers than we need, and that's good because
And
I'd
we
like,
can make those names public then. The
Okay.
volunteers.
I don't see why it should be a secret who's
No.
volunteered, because that's video,
It's video, they'll be seen on the video.
so their faces
Okay.
there.
Then we're in
I don't-
agreement.
I don't see problem,
Right.
but if somebody has one, please email with why you think it shouldn't happen, because I may have overlooked it and Michael may have overlooked it too. So,
Well, I think one of the keys we're trying to achieve is transparency, and that's, transparency and being unbiased. So that's that. Okay.
And as I said, NNE does not touch the ballots. NNE touches the sealed envelopes. And from what I can understand, NNE didn't handle the actual ballots. A master counter did, and volunteer counters did in the ancient old days when we didn't have Unilect doing the election. I never volunteered for NNE back in then, and I never counted ballots with them.
Okay. So then we have community comment.
Oh, yes, and I am so looking forward to this.
Okay, well,
Not, but
Yeah, I mean, there are four attendees with us here. So if anybody wants to jump in, we can bring you over to the meeting. Just use raise hand and Zoom, and we'll take care of that as I get more emails in. There we go. Linda's here with us. I'll go ahead and bring her on over. Hi, Linda.
Hi, everybody. Linda Bradley, 5 Wisteria Lane. I have one question about the change in registration procedure. I'd have to look at the NNE manual, and when I have you guys up on Zoom, it's real hard to bring it up. But one of the things we used to do, and I believe it's still in the manual, is that as we registered people and vetted people, if they weren't in good standing, they had an opportunity to be contacted, if we had their contact information, to phone them or whatever and bring their dues current. The way I'm understanding it now, that's not going to happen until like Friday. So when's the opportunity going to be for the members who are supposed to be able to bring themselves current in order to vote? I believe there were a number of people with the SGM that couldn't vote because of not being in good standing. And I'm just concerned that if people aren't given that opportunity, then we've taken that away from them. And it's something that's always been done here in Sudden Valley. And I believe it's still part of the manual.
we didn't do that at the SGM. We did look for signatures and try and contact people who did not sign, and we tried to find alternate addresses for undeliverable mail, and were mostly unsuccessful. Because
I'm just
people just took off. And as far as what's in the manual, there's an asterisk on most things that says unless provided by a third-party vendor.
But there's no reason why you can't register the way it's always been done in the past. That's all.
Yes, there
All
is.
I've got to say is just in the past, members have always been given that opportunity. And it sounds like that's being taken away, although without understanding it more than the conversation here tonight, I can't address that. I know if people walk in and go to vote and you look up on your list that day that they're not in good standing, and some people, when they have been notified that they're ahead of time during the registering process, then they come and Gil's always there and he always takes payment from them then. So some people have come in, made payment, and then voted in person that day. So I'm saying
it would be a lot simpler to just notify everybody who's not in good standing that they're not in good standing, rather than
but once again, I'm saying, who does that? Because last time during the vote, Unilect had the lion's share of the ballots. So if they don't look until the very end,
right,
then those people have no opportunity. If you'd like to do a mailing to people periodically that says who's not, that would be something you could do. But I'm just saying that's what's troubling to me. But it's something that is not what's normally been done, or the.
Yeah, it was normally been done, because the minute you mail to Unilec, those people, there is no mechanism for them to be notified.
But see, that's not fair. And if that's what we're doing,
If
then
I may,
look at a different way. Go ahead, Michael.
if I may, in the SVCA election manual, section 5 ballots, section 5.2.6, says that the entity committee will collect and register the ballots from the ballot box at least twice during each week, which we are going to not do. We're going to do it. We're going to wait 2 weeks and do that. But they will take the ballots to a space, date, stamp, check signature, register, and vet, and place them in alphabetically in a locked case, which anyway, the staff member will be designated to assist in vetting and registering each time the committee counts. The registered ballots will then be secured in the locking cases until they are counted. The cases are placed in a closet, secure location until the counting begins. This is an old one because we don't have the asterisk in there for the third party handling it, but it doesn't say anything in here about contacting the homeowner and telling them whether they've paid their dues or not. That is not the entity's job to collect dues or make homeowners aware of their standing, but we can do that ad hoc somehow. I'm sure there's some way that accounting can just send out a reminder, say 10 days or 2 weeks before the AGM, and say, if your dues are not paid and you are then considered not in good standing, and you can't vote for board positions, but you can vote for the budget. And so, but there's nothing in here that says they do that. And Unilec has no way of doing that at all to the ones that are mailed to Unilec. So in order to keep it even on both sides, that's the homeowner's responsibility to make sure they're in good standing, but somehow our admin could possibly send out something, I don't know, 2 weeks before the AGM. So I don't know how all that works or who's going to get dumped on them, but it is more a homeowner's thing of making sure you pay your dues so that you can vote, and everybody knows that, I think. But and that keeps it even across the board, because like I say, the ones that are left in the ballot box and we go through and give them an extra warning that, your dues aren't up to date, then we've given them an edge over the ones that mailed them to Unilec, because Unilec's not going to contact anybody about it. They're just going to check off that their vote's in.
We were fine doing it for a couple of years, and if you look at 5.2.7, it says exactly what I'm referring to. If you read that paragraph, you'll see that it says that you will contact people. So all you need to do is read 5.2.7.
But that was all done before.
them.
That was all done before the third party came in. All that's been used.
I'm just saying, Michael, I had no problem for 2 years working with Unilec and following the process.
But Unilec's not sending out any letters either.
It's just my concern that you're taking that away. That's all.
You took it away 2 years ago.
But if they mail in their ballots to Unilec, Linda, they're not getting notified that they're not in good standing. The only way they're getting notified is if they put them in the ballot box.
Unilec used to send us a list periodically of who they all had received ones from. They were all added to the master registration list, and if there was an issue, looked at and contacted. I'm just saying, it's a little more complicated, yeah, but at least it sticks with what's there. And I'll look at the new one.
Well, after talking to Catherine and Andrew, they said they did not have any idea who was in good standing unless they got that list on the day before the election so that they could put it in there. That's the only way they know. They have no idea who's in good standing until we tell them who's in good standing. And that's what he told me tonight at 5:30.
That's fine. I'm not going to argue with it.
Okay, well, that's why I called him. I wanted to know for sure, right from their mouth, what they have and what they can do and what they can't do. And that's where they're at. They have no idea who's in what unless we give them that information. And they said they don't really need it until the day, at least 4 o'clock the day before the election so that they can get it in the system when they're scanning them all the next day.
And ultimately, that's their responsibility, and so it doesn't make any difference. I'm just saying what we have done in the past regarding our members leading up to making sure people can vote. That's kind of, we're kind of like talking apples. It's kind of two different processes. And I understand what they're saying about knowing that they've not got anybody, as long as they've still got everything in the envelopes, they can pick them out. But if they've been separated, it's anybody's guess, but as long as they do that before they open any of the envelopes, they're all good to go. That's just my concern. I'm done.
We can certainly put an announcement on the webpage under AGM and under the regular announcements saying reminder. And I think I've done that in the past for the SGM, a reminder that you need to be in good standing, but we can do it again.
When you put the ad on the View for volunteers to help with the AGM, maybe we could put a little thing there saying, please be aware that you have to be a member in good standing to vote for the board or other positions. And so it's your responsibility to make sure your dues are paid up so that you're in good standing.
That's a good
Something,
idea.
I don't know. Something
I've
like
already
that.
got something in there about the 2 ballot boxes, the Sudden Valley ballot box and the county ballot box, because last time we got county ballots in the Sudden Valley box and the county got Sudden Valley ballots in the county box. And I think what confuses people, maybe they don't realize there are 2 different ballot boxes. So we've got I wrote up something about that. And there are 2 other things that need to go that don't get the wrong box. No.
Well, we should do our best to try to make people aware of that they have to, that's what the rule is. Okay.
Thank you so much, Linda.
Thank you.
All right, and I've also got a hand raised from Jane. Jane, I'll go ahead and bring you over here. If you'd introduce yourself and unmute, please.
Hi there. Can you hear me okay?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. I'm Jane David, and I live at 10 Gooseberry Circle. And I'm one of the people that volunteered to Michael's call. So first, I just wanted to say thank you to Michael for continuing on the election committee and any.
Definitely.
Well, thank you.
Oh, Jane, you might have lost connection there. Yeah, we can't hear you anymore.
I think she meant to say more because she said, first of all.
Yeah, I think so too. I think her internet connection may have dropped out. Give her a couple seconds here to see if it reconnects. Jane, if you can hear us, you may need to leave the meeting and rejoin. There we go. Okay, let's try this again. Yeah, Zoom's having some trouble with their connection.
Either Zoom or Comcast or whoever it is. Are there other people who wanted to make a comment? Maybe we could bring somebody.
There's a couple other folks here tonight, but nobody else has their hand raised at the moment. If you would like to jump in, go ahead and use a raise hand, and Zoom should be down at the bottom of your screen. If you're using this on a computer or on a mobile device, there's a little menu button you tap, and you'll see something in there that says raise hand. Jane's kind of in a strange status here.
Can Jane talk through my phone?
You can try that. I'm not sure how the quality is going to be like.
Oh, you're going to try your computer again? Okay. Okay. Well, if you want to try to get back in, go ahead. I think they told us these would make our lives simpler.
Zoom's been pretty good for the most part. It's worked really well for us for a couple of years.
Facebook was supposed to make your life simpler too, and more pleasant, but that's not what a lot of it does.
Oh, here we go.
Okay. All right.
Okay, I'm going to hang up. Bye.
There we
Okay,
go.
can you hear me?
Yeah, we've got you back.
Woot woot. Okay, so Jane David, 10 Gooseberry Circle. Not sure where I got lost there, but thanks, Michael, for continuing on in the committee. I'm one of the people that signed up to volunteer, but this doesn't really have anything to do with that. I just wanted to say that as much as I respect Nancy's, obviously a very ethical person, would never do anything wrong. I do agree that the keys should not be in her possession during the time the ballot box is open for ballots. And I just think there's no reason for Nancy to have the keys during that period of time. And there's no way that you can, I assume the ballot box is outside. So there's no way that we could ever say, well, there will always be two people when the ballot box is open, because how would we know? So anyway, that's really all I wanted to say.
The ballot box is outside the office window, inside the building at admin.
Okay, so anybody who has access to go into the building at any time could just open the box with the keys with no one else present.
If they had keys, yeah.
Right. So that's the dilemma that I see that some people may bring up, is that Nancy has keys and could open the ballot box at any time and take ballots out and look at, I don't know if the signatures are on the outside. I don't remember, but like I said, I mean, Nancy, I know you're a highly ethical person and you would never do anything like that. But to me, there's no reason to even have that be a potential for someone to bring up. I mean, normally if someone was running for office, they would never have access to ballot envelopes. So it's just with all the things that have gone on in the past, I just feel like it's something pretty simple to deal with. And if someone else can have the keys, like Michael, or when Michael's on vacation, maybe your accountant or someone else who's a trustworthy staff member or whatever. I feel like it's just one way to avoid controversy, and there's no need to have that controversy because you don't need to have the keys during that time on your own. So anyway, that's all I wanted to say. And I'm looking forward to the SGM, and I really appreciate anybody who is volunteering or AGM, sorry, or running for office or whatever. I think it's great that people are stepping up. So that's it. And I'll wait to see if my name ends up on the final volunteer list. So thank you. Thank you for being patient with my computer problem.
Thank you.
No
You can
problem.
send me back now.
Thank you. Have a great evening.
Thanks.
Let me talk about the keys a little bit. There's a lot of symbolism in keys. And if I or any other entity chair throughout the history of that ballot box had chosen to meddle, there's nothing stopping them at all. People have friends that they'd like to change the vote for, perhaps. And in all reality, that ballot box got 250 ballots in it at the SGM out of a total of about 1,201. So the ballots are being mailed to Unilect mostly. In that case, and I don't see any reason why that would particularly change. I could be wrong. So it's too symbolic, and I see it giving up the keys as kind of like, well, I admit that I'm not trustworthy if I do that. No. That's the way I look at it. I'm sorry other people don't.
All right, that seems to be all of our attendees with hands raised tonight, Nancy.
Okay, I'd just like to make a comment that I sure miss Steve Workman. He was a good guy. He contributed to the committee a lot, and he was literally hounded out by Facebook. So they got another scalp.
He was really good with all the docs and Google Docs, and which I think should be dropped off a cliff somewhere. It's very not user friendly. But at any rate, he was really good with it. He worked through all the paperwork and did all the secretary stuff, and he was very fair and unbiased, and didn't air any of his opinions about things, and I really respected his presence in the group. And I'm sorry that he became roadkill because of social media. So
Yep.
it was killing his blood pressure and everything. So
I can understand it.
bad.
I mean,
You gotta have tough skin to be in Sudden Valley.
you gotta be tough to be in any chair from what I see, but that's the way it is.
Well, hopefully going forward, we might find some peace and unity in this community somehow. We'll just see how it goes. I'm the eternal optimist, even though I do have opinions and sometimes I shouldn't state them. But nonetheless, we all have opinions. So
Yeah, and asking me about the keys is a fair question. It's just.
well, we addressed it.
unread-
It's all out there in the open and everybody can see it and hear it. And we have your explanation and we have the thoughts all out on it, and it's going to be what it's going to be. But I do believe, and I'm going to say this again, I do not believe that you will touch anything in there or harm. It's kind of idiocy because they're inside 2 envelopes, and if you open them up to see which ones you're going to take out and throw away, they could be for you, and then you just lost a vote. So it seems like it's nonsense, but nonetheless, it's a loophole that seems to be sought everywhere in all elections and politics and whatever else that goes on as
Yeah.
some
I
way
would
of
love
throwing a
to-
smear on it.
I'd love to know why that ballot box had duplicate keys.
I was shocked when you said you found a whole bunch more keys and where they came from and anything, but I never have touched them.
Oh, no, it couldn't have been you.
I never have touched them at all. I mean, we spent hours looking for them.
Mhm.
And then they were at Linda's house for a year. So,
Well, I'll tell you, after the AGM is adjourned, the first thing I'm going to do is find that new entity chair or member of the committee and hand over those damn keys
Yep.
as quickly as I can get them out of my hot little hands.
Yeah. They sat for a year up on a hook at Linda's house, so.
Who knows?
I don't know. Maybe she has had mice that could make keys at night. I don't know, but I doubt it.
I don't think Linda knew.
I don't think Linda knew either.
In fact, I'm really,
Per-
unless Linda is a terrific actress, she did not know what I
Linda-
I don't
told
think she
her.
did.
Linda does have her hand raised if you'd like to hear from her on that.
Oh, yes.
Linda, if I see your hand raised here, I've brought you on over.
Thank you for letting me come over. So after the AGM at which I hung the keys at my house, I sent an email, and I actually posted this to AJ and to Nancy and said, I have the keys at my house. Whenever anybody's ready to come and get them, please do. The two people in the office had no access to lock them in the safe where they have always been locked after the entity is done with them. I used to turn them over to the ASM. I watched her put them in the safe and lock it. If you have two people that cannot open or cannot lock again the safe, that's why I kept them at my house. And I waited until somebody responded to me, and no one did until Michael called me when they were looking for the keys. It's the only reason I kept them at my house. Nancy came up and got them that same day then.
Yep.
So everyone was informed. Nancy was the only one that stayed in touch with me, and we still were, staff was really fluctuating then. And she goes, they're probably safer at your house than anywhere else at this point in time of being lost. So that's why we did what we did. I'm done. Thank you for letting me explain.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Linda.
I'm sorry if it came across that way, but I still don't think you knew that there was duplicates out there.
I knew that there was one duplicate. There were two that looked the same that were for the ballot box, but only two. And I think you told me these other ones look very different.
Well, they had a different end to them. The key part worked just fine. But they had a different, like where you hold on to the key.
I understand what you're telling me. And I have no idea. I have no idea.
But we changed the lockout completely.
Woohoo! Now it's really safe.
Yeah.
We did. We threw all of the old keys out and have new keys.
Good.
And a new
Okey-doke.
lock.
All right.
Right.
Thank you again, Linda.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thank you, Linda. Thanks for your service through all this in the past too. Well, I vote we adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn. So do I.
We'll
All
let Joel
in
go
favor of
home.
adjourning at, what is it, 7:22? No, 24?
25, but that's close enough.
Okay.